Hey, welcome back to our show, A Year of Magical Learning, a show where we read about a book and we reflect on what lessons we learn and we talk about it. So today we're up to book 49. To be clear, all these books has been read by Chris in his reflections. So this is Chris Sears and I'm True Win. So let's get on with it.
Yeah, well, thanks, Drew. I can't believe we've done 49 of these so far together. It doesn't seem like a huge number, but if you divide it by how many weeks we do this stuff, I mean, it's a couple months already of doing this, and it just seems like it's a part of our normal life at this point in time. So happy to do this one. Book 49. This is The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins. Did you ever read this one?
I have it in my entire library. I actually bought it in my Audible, but I haven't started yet.
Yeah.
Eventually it will get there.
Quick. Well, I think you would really enjoy this book just knowing you, but at the same time, like, I'm not gonna lie, this book was really math heavy. It was really, I don't even know how to describe this book. I feel like,
Is it like really technical?
yeah, it was pretty, I don't know if technical is the word, because the concepts he was talking about wasn't like too over my head. It was
Mm-hmm.
almost like it was very stat focused and very, it wasn't like philosophical necessarily. It was very much so
Right.
like a
So
mathematical
it's more
approach
of
to.
evidence.
Right. Yes. So it
Yeah.
was very, I don't know the word to put to it, but it was interesting. I definitely learned a lot from it, but it wasn't like I had a fun time reading this book. But I
Mm-hmm.
do know that this book was one of those general books that changed a lot of people's, it made a big impact in the world. Like, it was not like as the same level of like a Darwin and, like on the origin of species, but it was one of those books that people were like, oh shit, after it came out and there was a new theory to apply to life, and people were like, yeah, we are selfish. A lot of the studies and stuff that started to come out in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and psychology experiments and things like that all were stemming from the idea that humans are just innately selfish, and at our genetic core we're selfish, right? And my thing is, they took that in a negative way. This is what I was writing about in this reflection. Is it's actually, I think it's a positive thing. So the title was that I put together for this one was, we can all get what we want together. At the core of the book talks about how selfishly our genes are going to protect ourselves and our kin closest to us, basically, to ensure it's our genetic existence. I mean, that's just how life works. I don't disagree with that at all, of the genes that survive, or is the kind of the whole idea of survival of the fittest, right? But fittest doesn't necessarily mean like strongest or the one that consumes the most resources. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean what, like survival of the fittest to me. So while I do agree with the central theory of this book of, we are at our core and at our genetic core selfish beings, I don't disagree with that at all. If your goal is, pure selfishness, you would think, like I said, at our core, it's like take would be what you want to do. If you're a selfish person, you just keep consuming as much as you want and take from as many people as you want, and eventually, your genes will win out. Well, along the way, humans figured out the unique twist to this whole entire rule, that we're all better together. If you want to eat more food, to get more protein, to live a longer life and to grow stronger, to pass on your genetic DNA, it's a lot better to eat a mammoth all winter long than it is to hunt little squirrels all day long. The problem is you can't kill a mammoth just by yourself. Like, you need other humans to be able to do this stuff with. You need other people to team up with you. You need to be able to pass on the ideas of what you're trying to do in your head to be able to accomplish what you need to selfishly accomplish in order to continue to survive and thrive and be the evolutionary, I guess, winner, if you will. Well, that was how life was like, in my opinion. In today's modern world, it's about the survival of ideas and whose ideas reign supreme. And the only way, as you and I know, for an idea to survive and thrive is if other people start to believe in it, right? So it's one thing to turn your idea from a thought into a thing. It's quite another for you to actually expand it, turn it into a culture, build around it. You have to have other people in order for that to survive and thrive. So long story short, I guess, if you want to be as selfish as possible, in my personal book, you need to find ways to unite together with others, to working toward bringing your ideas and goals to life with a mutually beneficial relationship for all. And that's why humans are pretty fun. We figured out, you work together, you're actually more selfish, when you work
Mm-hmm.
together. The question is how can you be selfish and still help others at the same time? And I'd love to get your thoughts on just the selfish gene in general, like topic, and what your take on my reflection as a whole. I have a feeling that we're 100% aligned on it, but yeah, I'd love to get your thought.
So first question, Do you think a selfish gene is a fact?
I don't think anything's a fact. I think if we,
Do you believe in it? Do you believe humanity have it?
I believe that we are all at our core selfishly motivated, not necessarily at the conscious level, but at our subconscious level, to ensure the survival of ourselves and our closest kin, our children or whatever. I think at our core, like, I'm going to protect Luca,
Right. It has
Amelia,
nothing to do with
Felicia.
you. It has to do with your genes.
Yeah,
Your genes is selfish. They say,
exactly.
well, I'm here for number one.
Exactly.
And so you are made up of these genes. Therefore, you inherently going to be selfish as well.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
You can't buck your genetic code because it's not going to make it easy for you. It's going to fight against you. Just going up against a river.
Right.
Right. It's like if you're naturally going to be, you like the cold, right? And you say, well, I want to be in a hot environment. Well, you're going to suffer. I mean, you can be, but you're going to suffer because your gene is not going to like it.
Right.
Right. And so your genes is going to determine who you are and what you're going to do and what makes you fulfill or, at a stable environment, at a stable phase of who you are.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. So they are the genes that decide who you are and what you will do and how you behave. And to me, I 100% believe in the selfish genes. The selfish are over millions of years have randomly evolved, meaning that the selfish gene was able to give people an advantage.
For sure.
That species advantage. So if you were born by random without the selfish gene, you're going to die off. The one that survived has a selfish gene. So I believe that all of humanity right now, for the majority of our humankind, we have the selfish genes. And this selfish genes is the way it works, right? And I think it works well. So I don't think, thing is, people say, I think the reason why people don't write about this or don't talk about this because it has a bad spin on it, just because say, hey, I'm selfish. And people wants to be altruist. I want to be this and I want to be that because that's acceptable. But deep down, we are all selfish thing. Because
that's exactly right. That's what I wanted to get out there was it's not a bad, like, think the book Humankind, it's still us being selfish together. Like when we're selfish together, that doesn't mean that it's bad. I think sorry, I don't mean to cut you off there, but it's like the definition of selfish is really the problem here. Like, we can be selfish together and all thrive together.
Yes, I think it's a wrong labeling of what that gene is.
It's not selfish. I know that
it has that behavior, but because, for example, if I were to take from you, I would able to get $20 from you. I can probably do once or twice. So basically I get $40 out of you. But if I would say, hey, Chris, let's work together. How many dollars can I get in the end? I can get like hundreds, thousands, millions. Because if I help you get what you want, in turn, I can get more from you.
We talked about this with the self-development
in the end, it's about the amount of volume, if the optimal number of benefit, the dollars or the whatever I get out of that person I'm talking to. So I'm being selfish by wanting the maximum benefit from you when interacting with you. If I'm working towards the selfish in a way that it is so primitive that you don't think about it, I can only get $40, $20, right? And to me, that's I would say, let's say a dumb selfish versus a smart selfish.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're like
true
clever.
Selfish is like getting the end. What is the maximum benefit you can get? You're talking about hunting squirrels, right? I can hunt squirrel, right? I can steal it from you, right? A squirrel compared to a woolly mammoth, is it 100 times? Right?
10,000 times,
So if me, you, and 4 or 5 other people get together, we surround the mammoth trying to hunt it. The act of working together, the amount of meat I can take home to my family is huge.
Right.
Comparing to hunting squirrel. I can hunt the squirrel for a month and maybe I get closer, maybe not even close to the amount of chunk of mammoth that I would hunt with my friend for a week.
Right.
So looking at the selfish gene, the smart way is what's the maximum output I can get out of working together. But in the end, the core of it is still being selfish because I want more than just a bunch of squirrels.
Right. You want the most meat you can bring back for your
And
family.
so the selfish gene is working great because it is the way that causes us to say, wait a minute, if I work together with me and 5 of my friends, I can get this huge chunk of meat to take home in a week. Right?
Yeah.
And because of that, I can feed my family. My kids grow up, they can survive. Because if I hunt a squirrel, they may die because they probably have enough for all my family to eat. So because of our selfish gene, we are able to thrive and survive and continue to pass on our genes into today.
I agree. There's no other species on this planet that is as cooperative and collaborative as human beings. And there's a reason I feel like we're the apex
because
we have selfish. Or I think we need to think of another word. You know, it's not, I don't think selfish is the right word. I think it's, I don't know what the word is, and I'm not going to be able to come up with it on the
spot. We may have to make up a new word.
Maybe let's call it the purpose gene or something like that, or the meaning gene.
The maximizer genes, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But this is what I mean when we are selfish. Being selfish is good. Just do your job, right? If I say, that's your job, do your job. Don't go over here and say, hey, I want to do that, your job and my other job. Just do your job, right? Be selfish. Be specialized in what you do.
Right. So society, as you said, I think you hit the nail on the head. We immediately hear the word selfish because humans are so cooperative with each other. We've been taught being selfish is awful, which is true. But at the same time, it's not. It's like it's a weird paradox. The word, there needs to be another word that means selfishly good versus selfishly bad.
Versus the ignorant selfish, because the ignorant selfish means that, hey, I'm gonna try to get money without thinking about the long term. Because let's say I were to I guess I would to work with you, right? Or would to kind of selfishly take from you. Right. The point is there is a reaction on the other side. Say, well, because True is trying to take and take and take. Because Chris said, well, if he keep taking, I'm going to stop him from taking. Right? But if I were to take only a little bit and give a little bit, he said, well, that's not too bad. I can continue to let him take. It's not that bad, right? So another example would be, let's say I'm symbiotic, right? I'm going to chop a tree. What happens if I chop tree and you keep chopping it and then it dies? There's no more fruit, no more chopping I can do. But if I chop just a little bit,
right,
put some fertilizer, it grows more, I chop a little bit more. Put fertilizer, water it, chop it more. So this is true sense of your selfish gene. Versus I'm going to chop the whole tree and it die. Well, I can only get whatever the wood or the fruits are on the tree right now. But if I just cut a little bit, you know, and then I would tender it and make it grow and more and then cut a little more. So I can cut that almost infinitely.
I was trying to bring this up earlier a little bit, but it reminds me of our conversations we've had around like the personal development industry, where it's always this big push to always take up front, and the stupid selfish way where they're like, we have some magic formula to maximize your life or whatever. All you need to do is just listen and apply this to your world. They push that so hard. They're like, but you got to spend money up front because we just can't do this stuff for free. You got to pay $10,000 to come to this conference, spend $2,000 to go to this professional development and training. Well, all they're doing is teaching knowledge and sharing ideas with each other at that point in time. Like if they were truly smart about it and they were truly thinking with the selfish gene, the good way in mind, they should say like, what if I just taught this to people? And what would I be able to reap in the background as these people completely grow and transform and thrive and start to evolve and start to produce way more, 30x, 100x, 5,000x, whatever that maximizes out to of what they're producing. And you take a little bit of that of each of them, and it's going to be way more than that $2,000 you sucked away from them for that one conference.
Right, because you suck so much money out of the front, it just cripples them. Just like you chop down one tree, it dies. You chop the whole tree, it dies.
You have to nurture it. These are relationships you have to invest into. You have to put time into these ideas. What we're doing, what you and I are doing. I get one tree, or I get multiple branches for indefinitely, as long as the tree is still growing. You know, it's a symbiotic relationship in that way. So the selfish genes, like it's in its truest form. What is the maximum you can get? Not just, oh, I'm selfish, I'm going to take. That is just an ignorant, dumb, selfish definition. Right. You and I are planting seeds every single day in my mind.
We want more than just one tree.
Exactly.
We want infinite tree, infinite fruit, infinite branches to burn for firewood. I want just more. I'm really selfish. To me, I'm a really selfish person.
Yeah, we want to be able to live our purpose, live our life, do meaningful work for ourselves. And then to do that, we need to do that with other people. We need to be able to build a community and a tribe around the idea of living a balanced existence, which is what we're trying to do. It truly is altruistic what we're trying to do, but it's altruistic trying to also build something together that is greater than the sum of our parts. It's altruistic saying we can do more in this world, but we need to be able to do it together. So it's like selfish altruism or something like that.
I would say selfish is the parent of altruism. Without selfishness, you can't be altruistic.
I agree, but you also
I think the definition is where it gets confusing, because to me, when I look at the word selfish, it's about how can I get the maximum out of whatever that I'm interacting with.
Right.
It's not the dumb selfish where I'm killing my own golden goose. You have a golden goose that lays golden eggs, and you killing it. You say, hey, I want to take. I take the eggs and take the goose.
It's the PPC balance, right?
Exactly. You have golden goose. What would you do? You take the egg, you go sell it, and then you
gotta
kill the goose.
You gotta take care of that
and
goose.
you have a freaking fiesta.
Well, I mean, if you're really smart, you'd go figure out how to produce other golden gooses and make sure that they're happy and able to reproduce.
If you're smart, like in the true selfish terms, you say, well, if the goose laying eggs, how can I nurture the goose so it can lay more eggs?
Or go find a goose for it to marry so it can produce little babies.
The kind of thing that's like the selfish gene is, I want to be freaking filthy rich.
Right.
Well, that is very selfish. So I want as many golden goose eggs as possible. That is the true definition of selfish in my mind.
Right.
Because if you're not doing that, you're not being selfish. You're just being stupid.
Yeah.
If you kill the golden goose, you're just being stupid. You're not being selfish. You're just being stupid. I mean, is that clear?
So we need to brainstorm another word for this to be able to come back to the world with, because I agree with you. The title of Richard Dawkins' book is provocative by nature, because we're like, wait a minute, selfish means bad, And to be fair, when you read this whole book, he doesn't really talk about the stuff that we're talking about, but I think back to many of the books we've read about humanity in general. And I really do think this is what he was meaning. The more that we collaborate and work together, the more that we are technically selfishly putting ourselves out there, because like you said, we're maximizing.
When we work together, the output is more than single.
Right. Exactly.
If we don't have that kind of output, I don't think I'll be altruistic, to be honest with you.
Beyond maybe your children or your wife or something like that, because humans are the only because this goes back to the whole 90%, chimp, 10% bee kind of thing. Yeah, and we'll talk about that in the future. But
like I say, it's that gene, right? Because why am I sacrificing myself for my kids? Is it because that the gene I have? It's not that I wanted to. It's just because I was made to do.
Right.
I was made to behave that way. Otherwise, it wouldn't feel good. I wouldn't feel like I'm supposed to.
Agreed.
To do what I want to do, right? That's why am I suffering for my kids? Why, like you said, you can't do anything when you don't have a nanny, just because, you gotta feed him 5 times a day. And, he's
terrorizing the whole house. Yeah. He's eating, side note, he won't eat the food that we want him to eat, like, berries and meat and nuts and eggs and yogurt and whatever. But what he will eat is every piece of metal in the house, every piece of wood. Like, he tries to eat everything, like couches, like, he'll put anything in his mouth except for the food you want him to eat. It's mind blowing, Anyway, that's a side note. All right, so let's call it for the day, I would say. But yeah, it's I don't know about you, but like, I would never read this book again, just because it was pretty boring. It was pretty boring content, to be honest with you. Like, it was really dry. It was really not something that I was excited about reading. And at the end of the day, I don't know that I would recommend this book, but I did learn, a decent amount. I think it has a good theory behind it. So
I think if you read this book, right, it gives you a new perspective of it's okay to be selfish. It's a good thing. Don't try to fight it. It's
like Gordon Gekko, greed is good,
It is good. Yeah. Greed is good. You have to do the smart way, not the stupid way. If you do the stupid way, then yes.
Right.
If you have a golden goose, feed it whatever it needs to get
Right.
you more golden goose eggs, right? But if
Yeah,
you say, I just get the goose and then kick the goose out, well, you're just being dumb.
I agree. There needs to be life's all about balance, right? It's all about finding the right selfish balance, and the right greedy balance, all that
Maximize
good stuff.
agree. Maximize your
Your greed. Yeah.
selfishness.
Balance. No, we'll call it balance. Balance your selfishness, because when you're balanced, then you can maximize. Like if you're abusing one way or the other, you're screwed.
Yeah, to
Right.
me, being selfish is good.
Right.
The thing is,
Awesome.
I'm doing this because I'm selfish.
Same here. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, to look truly at what we're doing this because I'm being selfish. I'm being selfish with you because I get more by talking to you.
Right. Well,
right?
I get more sharing too.
Exactly. Why the altruistic is the child. We'll leave you with that.
Good lesson for the day. So the question y'all can, contemplate, reflect on is, how can you be selfish and still help others at the same time?
It's already baked in.
Yeah, I agree.
You just don't try to go the opposite way up the river just because you naturally are selfish, and because of that you help others.
Right. It is. I agree. So maybe we should revise the question. But yeah, either way, thanks for joining.
We'll see you next time. All right.